It doesn't pick off with a big win. No, it starts with a loss, a really devastating loss that almost ended the entire thing before it even got off the ground.
So let's meet the guy at the center of all this, Michael. He's a 32-year-old electrician from Texas, and, like so many of us, he was drawn to the stock market, hoping to build a better future for himself.
And his story is just so relatable, isn't it? I mean, his first 2 years were a total classic lesson in chasing hype and, that fear of missing out. He jumped right on the meme stock train, saw a little bit of green at first, and then just had to watch as it all completely evaporated. He lost his entire savings, $8,000, gone.
You can just imagine how he felt. He was totally defeated. He was convinced the market was just a big casino rigged against the little guy, and he was right on the edge of just quitting for good.
But then, one night, you know how it is, he's deep in a rabbit hole of financial videos, and a single piece of advice just completely flipped his perspective. It set him on a brand new, way more disciplined path.
And that was it. That was the light bulb moment. It sparked a total reset. He realized he hadn't been investing in actual companies, he'd just been betting on squiggly lines on a screen. So he decided to give it one more shot, but this time with a very strict set of rules.
Okay, so here's the new game plan, and this is crucial. He committed to starting small, with a totally manageable amount, just $1,000. And then came the hardest part. For 6 whole months, he would only study and learn. Not a single trade.
So after months of just burying himself in annual reports, he came up with these strict, non-negotiable rules you see here. He was looking for strong revenue growth, really healthy profit margins, and low debt. He wasn't just buying ticker symbols anymore. He was buying solid businesses that he could actually wrap his head around.
So, with his new rules locked in, he split that $1,000 across 3 companies that fit the bill. PayPal, for its dominance in fintech, AMD, for its huge role in the chip boom, and then a smaller, high-growth bet on an energy drink company, Celsius. And then, he did the hardest thing any investor can do. Absolutely nothing. He just waited.
But of course, right on cue, just as his 6-month waiting period was ending, the entire market got thrown into absolute chaos, and this was it, the ultimate test for his newfound discipline.
So, in that 7th month, panic over inflation and interest rate hikes caused a massive market crash. In a flash, 30% of his carefully built portfolio was just gone. His $1,000 was now just $700.
And right here, this is the classic investor's dilemma. Michael had a huge choice to make that was going to define his entire journey. Do you give in to the fear and sell everything, or do you see this crash as a rare opportunity? What would you do? Well, he made a bold and, let's be honest, a very risky move. He decided to throw in another $2,000, averaging down his cost and bringing his total investment to $2,700. It was a huge bet on his own research.
So what happened next was something that nobody, and I mean especially not Michael, could have ever predicted. It was that perfect storm of solid research meeting a massive dose of good luck.
It turns out his smallest, least known investment, that energy drink company Celsius, announced a massive distribution deal with Pepsi. The news sent the stock absolutely soaring, over 400%, turning his little $333 stake into more than $1,600. Just like that.
And with his other stocks recovering really well, his portfolio just took off. He even started to carefully dip his toes into more advanced stuff, using low-risk options on just 5% of his holdings to generate a little extra income and speed things up.
So now he's armed with some real capital and, more importantly, some hard-won experience. Michael started looking for what he thought could be a once-in-a-lifetime kind of opportunity.
He spent months doing a deep dive on this small, pretty speculative satellite company with a really revolutionary mission. After reading literally everything he could find, he decided, this is it, this is my shot, and he got ready to make his biggest investment yet.
And listen, this is where his discipline really shines. He put in $5,000. I mean, that's a serious amount of money, but it was still a carefully managed risk, just 3% of his total portfolio. He wasn't betting the farm this time.
And wow, did that bet pay off? 6 months later, the company gets this critical license from the FCC, which was the final green light they needed, and the stock just exploded, climbing an incredible 800%.
But here's the difference. Learning from all his past mistakes, Michael followed a new rule. He sold his entire position that exact same day, locking in those incredible gains. That one trade turned his $5,000 investment into $40,000, pushing his total portfolio value over $62,000. So after all that, what did this 3-year roller coaster of loss and patience and victory really teach him? Well, the real lesson was about so much more than just the final number in his account. He basically boiled his entire journey down to these 3 core ideas that guided him after that first brutal failure. First, managing your risk isn't just a good idea, it's everything. Second, trying to time the market is a fool's game. And third, you have to invest in what you actually understand.
Michael's journey from an $8,000 loss to a $62,000 portfolio just proves that success isn't some